Hey everyone, my name is Sam and thanks for checking out this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification, and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it at the end. So I apologize, my work schedule this weekend has been insane, so this is probably going to go up later on Sunday, even though I had worked last night and it was like pitch black by the time I got home and I was super tired because it was so busy. And then I had a work meeting this morning at like 8 a.m. and then they changed my shift that was supposed to start at noon to 10 a.m. So I have like 30 minutes to do this, so we're just gonna deal. So as always, I wanted to tell you about the books that I read this week. I managed to finish 4 and I have 2 ongoing. Technically, I did have 3 until late last night. So I have lots of books. Actually, I've been going through an insane amount of books, but these are the ones that I read this week. So the first book that I read this week was actually a reread of A Poison, Dark, and Drowning by Jessica Cluess. This is the second book in the Kingdom on Fire series, I think it's called. And this, yeah, it was a reread for me. I reread A Shadow Bright and Burning and then this one so that now I can read A Sorrow Fierce and Following and remember everything. And I'm very glad I did because I forgot the majority of this book. But it's following Henrietta, just like we found it in the first book, about her status as a magician, sorcerer kind of situation, as well as being aware of what the prophecy in this world is about like the evil demons, as well as her sort of boyfriend being kind of like dirty, clean, plague-ridden kind of situation. I actually think I enjoyed this book more than the first one, which I'm kind of surprised by because I feel like the last time I read them, I liked the first one a little bit more. But I just really like this book. I think Henrietta just grows so much, especially with being kind of like forced to realize what her friend from her childhood and someone she was planning on marrying is, you know, the situation that they're stuck in, and also finding about her lineage and her father, and then the prophecy and maybe her place or not her place in that. And then we get added a couple new characters. I really liked that. I like that we got more of the politics side of it as well. I'm trash for politics. And I just really enjoyed this book. I'm very excited to read the third one now. Like super excited. Yeah, so in the end, I think I gave this one like a 4.5 or 5 out of 5 stars. I also read A Crown of Wishes by Rashi Chofsky. Finally, this is the companion to A Star-Touched Queen, and Rashni's writing is just so beautiful, but I'm really excited that since I finished that, I'm all caught up on her now, because I read my the Gilded Wolves arc, I read The Star-Touched Queen, I've read Arusha, I've got this, so I'm ready for the second Arusha book whenever that does come in. So, like I said, this is the companion, not a sequel. We saw in last month's video what I feel about people confusing companions and sequels and rating them negatively about that. But it follows the main character of Star-Touched Queen's sister. So she is sent as a prisoner of war basically by her brother because she kind of attempted a coup. And so she's in a prisoner of war camp of a different kingdom, and her brother sends that letter to that kingdom saying kill her. And the guy, the prince of that kingdom that's supposed to kill her, has an offer to go into this like magical wizarding kind of tournament and win, and he thinks if he wins, then his council will take him seriously and he'll be able to become an actual king, not a puppet king of his kingdom. So he decides to take her along, ignore the demands that she be killed, and adventure and romance ensues in traditional Roshni style writing, and very similar to the Star-Touched Queen-esque, which I thought was kind of beautiful and poetic in a way. Honestly, this kind of is like, it just makes me think of a rom-com, like not a rom-com maybe necessarily, yeah, kind of a rom-com, just like without the comedy aspect, but still kind of. It's just, I don't know. I just really enjoyed this. I can't exactly put my finger on why. I think it's definitely some of her writing as well. It's just, I'm so in love with Rashni's writing. But I enjoyed like the adventure that they get to go on, this like travel. It kind of actually reminded me a little of Caraval. They get this letter of like, you can go to this like tournament and you have 2 admission entrances, and then they're like, what about exits? And they're just like, you're funny for noticing that, and like just drop it. So they go in a lot of adventuring and questing, and then obviously there's that romantic element, and I love it. I love the settings and of these 2 stories, and just trash. So once again, I think I gave it like a 4.5 or 5 out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed. I also got my chance finally to pick up The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee, and Now, I will say, it's not like the same kind of humor I feel as the first one, like Gentleman's Guide. And I think it kind of does make sense because Monty and his boy there are like very sarcastic and like kind of raunchy, dirty guys. And they're those guys that make like yo mama jokes or those like that's what she said kind of thing. And then there's Felicity, his sister. So it follows Felicity in her kind of adventures. She stayed in Scotland, and she's been kind of almost spam flyering people trying to get in as like a practitioner's aide or apprentice or something like that because she's trying to get into medical school, but she keeps getting blocked obviously because she's a woman. So she travels on back to England and through a series of steps ends up at the wedding kind of celebrations of her friend to marry this guy named Alexander Platt. I think it's Platt. And this is a man she's idolized. She's read all of his medical journals. He's a doctor. So she figures maybe I can get an in. I know his wife. We were childhood friends. And I can get in and he'll take me on as an apprentice or something. Things don't go as planned. And there's some adventuring. That's all I'm going to say. I loved getting more Felicity. It's the same Felicity from the first book, even though the comedy is different. She reminds me a little bit of Sheldon Cooper with her just like, I don't understand why people would want me to do this. And it's like, because it's Victorian era, honey. This is this is why, sweetheart. And just like her trying to interact, it's so because of, you know, that being at this wedding rehearsal thing and like her having to be forced to interact with other people is the funniest thing alive. And like the people that she gets along with most are basically like her her childhood best friend's dog, and it's so funny. But the adventuring is really, really cool. I love that it's focused on her friendship with this girl, and I just love it. And we get little bits of glimpses of Monty and Percy, and it's just so sweet. And I'm very happy with that we get both of these stories, and it's kind of a continuation but also not. And it like they kind of can just be left alone. Like there doesn't have to be a third book. There's no big like ending, but it's just a really, really enjoyable story with such insanely enjoyable and cute characters. And I love Felicity. She's so strong and independent and smart, and I'm loving this trend in YA of strong independent women wanting to get involved in science and doing anything they need to do so. Yeah, so once again, easy 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved. And last but definitely not least, Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. Despite the fact that I loved all the other books I read this week, this was easily my favorite of the week. It's one of my favorites of the year, and I'm kind of angry because my friend Meg made me read it, and I like to troll Meg, but it's good. I'm ready to get involved in another 7, 8, 9 book series again, apparently. But it follows our main character, Sophie, who is in our world, our people world, and at the age of 5 she like has like she falls and hits her head or whatever, and she's been able to like read people's thoughts ever since and like go into their mind. And so she's like in like skilled classes and everything for school, and then all of a sudden she gets like picked up by an elf and taken to another world, and it turns out she's not actually human. She actually has elven powers, and there's a lot of mysteries going on in her and in the human world that happen to correlate to the elf world. And there's like kind of these like rebel people in this what you look to and think of as like this perfect elven world, but there's this rebel group trying to do other stuff. And then all of a sudden there's kidnappings, and she has to be placed with a new family because her parents from the human world can't come along. She's trying to find out exactly how she can be an elf and who her parents must have been then from the elven world. And then there's a school at the same time where they're trying to develop her powers, and then it finds out she has more than one power. And then she is just like this amazing, a gifted, powerful human. And it's so good. However, I did get to the end and realize, wait, we literally didn't learn anything. Like, we know a little bit more about Sophie, but we have it's like a series of unfortunate events. You have far more questions at the end than you did at the beginning. But that being said, loved the magic, loved the writing. The characters are amazing, though. I love the relationships between all of them. You know, there's the, you know, kind of adoptive parent situation, and it's just so good. If you've never read this series, please read it. It's so good. I need to talk to people about it. And I have to go buy books 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I think the 7 are out now, and it's supposed to be 9 total. I'm just very excited. It's so good. I can't believe I hadn't heard about this series until this year. And yeah. So 5 out of 5 stars easily. So those are all the books that I read this week. Let me know in the comment section down below what you read this week. And if you've read any of these, I'd love to know your thoughts. Make sure to check the description bar down below. I will link all of these books to their Goodreads pages, and I will also link all of my social media. If you follow me, I will follow you back.